Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. We are thrilled that you are here this morning. We are simulcasting on TikTok Live. I don't know what that's going to be. So if you're on TikTok Live and you want to interact, sorry, can't really do that because I'm big, but I'm only one guy. So in any case, today we talk about two things. We talk about how Donald Trump and Republicans are being told that they're politicizing the death of this 12-year-old girl due to this illegal immigrant, and then watch one of the judges, one of the people who talk about this crime, actually politicize it, and it seems like there was a quote mistake, error with the Supreme Court again, and a ruling got leaked and ended up on the website early. I'm not sure how that happens. It isn't automated, so I'm not sure how that happens. So we're going to talk about all that when we get back. Thank you ever so much for coming to the Morning Report. We'll see you in a minute. All right, welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. Again, the Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. The United States Supreme Court is poised to allow doctors in Idaho to perform abortions during certain medical emergencies, according to Bloomberg. The outlet claimed that a draft opinion from the upcoming decision was accidentally. I've become so cynical now, which is terrible, really, to think that anything is actually accidental, that accidents actually happen, that there are coincidences. Everything happens on purpose, and everything happens for a reason. Everything. When Joe Biden won this election, I told people here on this program, I said, everything you see now will be for public consumption. Everything you see will be for public consumption. There will be no accidents. There will be no coincidences. Everything is planned. Every single thing is planned. Just know that, all right? The outlet claimed that the draft opinion was the upcoming decision was accidentally posted online yesterday. The document was taken down soon after. But what do you know about the internet? If it's up and someone sees it and screenshots it and pushes it out still from whatever, any number of accounts, it's there literally forever, right? It's almost impossible to pull down every screenshot, right? To every video capture. It's not possible. The Supreme Court offered a response acknowledging that the opinion in Moyle versus U.S., Idaho versus U.S. was briefly uploaded to its website. The court's publication unit inadvertently and briefly uploaded a document to the court's website, a spokesman said. The court's opinion in these cases will be issued in due course. According to Bloomberg, this ruling from the High Court would reinstate a lower court's order that allowed hospitals in the state to perform, quote, emergency abortions for the mother's health. The outlet noted that the posted version of the decision indicated that the judges dismissed appeals from Idaho and pro-life leaders in the state. According to the CBS News, the copy of the opinion showed a 6-3 split with Justices Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch in dissent. Apparently, the court has simply lost the will to decide the easy but emotional and highly politicized question that the case presents, Alito reportedly wrote. Reportedly, Justice Elena Kagan authored the concurring opinion, stating the decision will prevent Idaho from enforcing its abortion ban when the termination of a pregnancy is needed to prevent the serious harms to a woman's health, adding that allowing the injunction to go back into effect will give Idaho women access to all the needed medical treatments that the METLA guarantees. The case decided whether a federal law, listen carefully, a federal law requiring hospitals that participate in Medicare to provide necessary stabilizing treatment. medically stabilizing treatment. Don't know what that is, including an abortion in an emergency trumps an Idaho law that bans most abortions. In addition, the state law includes criminal penalties up to 5 years in prison for anyone who performs one or assists an abortion. There are limited exceptions for rape and the life of the mother. Now, here's the deal. There are already in the Idaho law exemptions for rape and the life of the mother. So the federal government, or even the Supreme Court level, getting involved in this decision seems, I don't know, extra. It seems ridiculous and unnecessary. So let's break it down. What this actually means, what the Supreme Court, if this draft opinion out there is going to go forward with a real opinion, here's the deal. What they actually mean is that if the mother's life is in danger in some way, if she could lose an organ or a limb or her life, that's already contained in the Iowa law, in the Idaho law. It's already contained in there. So we have to wonder, why is this up? Why is this happening? Agenda. So, for those of you who are depending on the Trump court appointees, notice that only one of them is in the dissent here. Notice that only one of them is in the dissent. Gorsuch, right? The others are not. So this narrative, and Tal Holt ran this great article earlier this week, this narrative that the court is staunchly conservative, and if Trump gets elected again, then you can just kiss democracy goodbye, and then as he replaces Supreme Court justices, they'll all be ultra conservative, wearing their MAGA hat. No. How about no? How about absolutely not? That is not what's happening, and we can see in this that is not what's happening. Not at all. So anyway, a lower court agreed with the Biden administration and blocked the Idaho law. When the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case, it lifted the injunction. And so for a while, they just said, hey, listen, let's go back to whatever the law is, and then we'll look at it and see what happens. Now, before I go on to the next thing, a lot of us said 2 years ago, and it's been about 2 years, that when Roe v. Wade was overturned, that wasn't the end of something. A lot of you just threw up your hands like you had crossed the finish line, in a marathon, and you'd won. That was the starting gun. That Roe v. Wade being overturned was not the finish line, but the starting gun. And we told you that. We warned you that it would not, even with a bunch of the trigger laws and in effect, that if Roe v. Wade ever got overturned, this law would go in effect the very next day. We told you that it was just the beginning. That it was just the start, right? We warned you. Now the real work in every state has to go. Now, be honest with you, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you can do in California. I don't know what you can do in New York or Illinois. I don't know what you can do. I mean, it is uphill and the hill goes vertical. It's like this, and it's slick and it's oiled, right? A place like Idaho is a little different. A place like Florida is much different, right? Louisiana, much different. The key is that we have to save as many lives as we can. That's all there is to it. We have to save as many lives as we can. Our sad reality is that we won't be able to save every life. That's the sad reality of all of it. We can't save every life, but we do indeed have to save as many lives as we can. So however, I want to warn you, because You guys get discouraged so easily. I mean, so incredibly easily. Here's the deal. I want you to understand that however this case turns out, that doesn't mean that we've lost. Not at all. It's just one of those things we have to keep, that reminds us we have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting the good fight of faith. We have to keep fighting, because if we don't, children will die. I know that sounds hyperbolic for sure, but if we don't keep fighting, children will die, and that's all there is to it. So wherever you are, do whatever you can do. If you're in Idaho, do what you can do in Idaho. If you're in California, good luck, God bless you, Godspeed. Do what you can do in California. California, modern times, new Sodom, right? Do what you can do. New York, do what you can do. Right? All right. I want to, and for those of you who are watching on YouTube, now this is not live, by the way. This is the only me. You only get me live. Yay, yay, TikTok. You don't care. I'll put this video up on YouTube here in probably after we get done. So it should be up by 10:30 a.m. on Thursday. So you guys can check. You can check that out. You can go to the links and you can go right to the YouTube channel. Bang, bing, bang, boom. This video is incredible. Now, what's happening is that with the death of this 12-year-old girl in Houston, I think in Houston, Trump, especially because everything is about Trump. Did you see that even the former New York governor said if Donald Trump's name wasn't involved in that case that Alvin Bragg brought, it would have never been brought for you or I. It just would have never been brought. First of all, it was a misdemeanor, and I'm gonna regress for a second. It was a misdemeanor, and the statute of limitations had run out. They would not have found a way, made up a way, to attach it to some mystery crime they were covering up. Like, he was trying to change the results of the election. Well, that's what you do in a campaign, right? That's why you campaign. Because you're trying to change the results of an election. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, and Jamal Bowman lost, by the way. Did you hear? Anyway, this horrendous crime that this 12-year-old girl was murdered by an illegal immigrant. I mean, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for liking the live. Appreciate it. TikTok, appreciate that. Let's see if we can get 1,000 taps. I don't know. It doesn't do me any good. I'm not getting paid, but it's a vanity thing. Thank you. This 12-year-old girl that gets murdered by this illegal immigrant. Let me go ahead, and for those of you who are watching on YouTube, let me go ahead and play this video for you. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was mostly Judge Lena Hidalgo talking. She says evil happens regardless of immigration status. And she also spent time blaming Republicans for the conditions that led to Jocelyn's murder.
When the former president decided that he did not want Biden to have a win on immigration, he told his party to pull out of that agreement. So blaming things on the current immigration policy is absolutely political, and it really breaks my heart that people would politicize the sadness of that tragedy. To me, it hurts even more that they're being used as pawns in this fight over immigration that doesn't even exist because Biden and McConnell agree. It's just that Trump won't let him move it forward.
All due respect, Judge, you said this issue shouldn't be politicized, but by pointing the finger at former President Trump and Republicans in Congress, aren't you politicizing it?
I think I answered the question. So, yeah, I mean, this is about Jocelyn. This is about her family, and if we want to,
Judge,
as I said, talk about immigration.
You didn't answer the question. Are you politicizing this by pointing the finger at Republicans and saying it's their fault, not the fault of the Biden administration that lifted the Remain in Mexico policies?
Again, the Biden administration reached an agreement with Leader McConnell to address this, but this is not about immigration. I'm not going to feed into that.
Did you see her eyes? For those of you who are watching the video, did you see her eyes? When she knows she'd been caught, and what she never expected to happen happened? That somebody called her on her BS? I think that sometimes people in certain offices, especially people who are in the judicial branch, especially if you're a judge, get really used to just saying whatever, right? And of course, if you're a judge and you just, I'm sorry, I'm looking over at my production screen. If you're a judge and you just say whatever, right? Nobody in the courtroom, no one in the courtroom is going to correct you, right? Nobody in the courtroom is going to say, "Oh, Judge, aren't you?" They're never going to challenge you, ever, 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 because that's not how it works, right? You don't get to go in and challenge the judge because they could put you in jail. But in this particular instance, this reporter is not in her courtroom. This reporter is at a meeting, and they're answering and they're asking questions. This is an environment that obviously she's not used to, because she got immediately called out. Immediately called out. But this is a tactic that's used by the left all of the time. All the time. All the time. So what I would suggest you do is that, again, we have to, on every front, and there's a lot of fronts, and this is the deal, folks, there's a lot of fronts. Continue to fight. Cannot get tired and cannot just get discouraged. You can be frustrated, but you can't quit. There'll be no quit. We see the attacks coming from every single viewpoint, from the east, the west, the south, the north, everywhere. But that is a strategy, and if you own Rules for Radicals, Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, that's part of one of the strategies, is to overwhelm your enemy. Now, Alinsky calls your political opponents enemies on purpose. What did I tell you? No accidents, no coincidence. He calls them enemies on purpose, and he calls them enemies on purpose because then what you don't have to do is, you don't have to humanize them. You just don't have to humanize them because they're your enemies. And who humanizes enemies, right? So if you destroy them, cancel them, murder them, they're your enemy, right? And that's what you're supposed to do with it. That's what you're supposed to do to the enemy, right? That's why Alinsky uses the word enemy. And when these people who operate in this Alinsky type fashion this is why they don't play nice. The mistake that a lot of Republicans and conservatives, Republicans especially, make is they think they have to play nice. They get told, but you have to play nice. No, you don't. The Louisiana governor who came out and said, hey, signed that bill and said that the 10 Commandments need to be in every classroom in Louisiana. It's not playing nice. Not at all. Knowing full well he's going to be challenged. Knowing full well it's going to be challenged. But this may hurt some people's feelings. So he's like, yeah, okay, and what? Like the pride flags don't hurt people's feelings. Like the Black Lives Matters posters don't hurt people's feelings. What? But we've been told, Christians have been told, conservatives have been told that we have to be nice. We have to rise above it somehow. And as we're rising above it, they're chopping us off at the knees as we rise above it. In 2016, I heard this phrase a lot. We need to take our country back. We need to take our country back. Well, if you know, the country was started because somebody fought. Somebody who fought hard. I mean, fought hard, risked everything. That's how you got it to start with. How the hell do you think you're going to keep it? By just getting along to get along? That you can't hurt anybody's feelings? I'm not calling for physical violence by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm sorry, I can't get back down. I can't get back down because I might hurt somebody's feelings. I might say something that offends somebody. So that's going to be enough for me not to stand up for what I believe in. Are you serious? Seriously, are you serious? No. The fact of the matter is that, yes, I will probably say some things that will not play in Peoria or Los Angeles or New York or even Atlanta. But that's okay. That's okay. And if you want more of that, go to www.fightbackmedia.com, www.fightbackmedia.com. That's www.fightbackmedia.com. And you'll see a lot more of it. Been doing it since 2008. That's a long time. Podcasting before podcasting was cool. All right, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.